Welcome back. And finally, the last debate. It's about Jharkhand. It's about Enforcement Directorate. It's about Hemant Soren, the Chief Minister, who disappeared for 48 hours. 48 hours. Then he resurfaced. And then came out a picture of him holding meeting with his MLAs. And to everyone's surprise, his wife, Kalpana Soren, was also seen. So Ranchi is rife with speculation. Is it going to be the Bihar of 1990s when Lalu served Rabri on Bihar? A very famous headline of then newspaper Asian Age. So are we going to see Hemant's Kalpana in charge of Ranchi? Or will it just remain Kalpana? And the second thing, the ED raid, confiscation of BMW, some lakhs of rupees, 36 lakhs of rupees. We're going to talk about that. And then his eventual questioning tomorrow. And then the social media, full of it. Did he travel 1,300 kilometers by road? Where was he? How did he go there? No CCTV cameras. I mean, so fast tag to hote hi hain, sab jagah. And I'm sure a couple of CCTV cameras will be working. On this, I'll be joined by Anurag Naidu, political analyst, and Suresh Kochtil, political analyst. But before that, let me play out 3 bites for you, just to get a hang of things.
इस राज्य की ये जो मुख्यमंत्री है, कोयला के लूट में इनका संरक्षण प्राप्त है, बालू के लूट में इनका संरक्षण प्राप्त है, लोहा के लूट में संरक्षण प्राप्त है, जमीन के लुटेरों को संरक्षण प्राप्त है, और यहां तक कि आप तो ये जो सरकारी वैकेंसी भी है, तो ये सर्विस भी बेचा जा रहा है। यानी झारखंड के बच्चों के साथ, भविष्य के साथ ये खिलवाड़ किया जा रहा है। कभी कभी सुन करके मैं कल्पना करता हूं कि ये व्यक्ति मुख्यमंत्री है और मुख्यमंत्री दिल्ली से चुपके से भागा, तो वो दृश्य कैसा रहा होगा। जो व्यक्ति पुलिस से डरता है, क्या बोलते हैं, डर रहा हो, ईडी से डर रहा हो, सीबीआई से डर रहा हो, तो झारखंड की जनता की वो हिफाजत क्या कर सकते हैं।
ये पूरी तरह से लगता है कि इस देश में ईदी अमीन का शासन आ गया। तानाशाही की पराकाष्ठा। एक चुनी हुई सरकार, एक चुने हुए मुख्यमंत्री को इस तरह प्रताड़ित करना, आदिवासी होना गुनाह है क्या? आप देखें, शनिवार को ईडी ने सम्मन किया था। शनिवार बंद रहता है, रविवार बंद रहता है। सोमवार को मुख्यमंत्री महोदय ने संदेश भिजवाया कि मैं 31 तारीख को अवेलेबल हूं, आप आ जाएं, पूछताछ करें। खुद ईडी ने डेडलाइन दिया था 31 तारीख तक का, तब 29 तारीख को यह कार्रवाई क्यों? ये समझ से परे है। आखिर इतनी बेचैनी क्यों हो गई? वो एक मुख्यमंत्री हैं, लोकप्रिय मुख्यमंत्री हैं, कोई भगोड़ा नहीं, कोई तड़ीपार नहीं, तब इस तरह की बातें। ये झारखंड नहीं, झारखंड ही नहीं, झारखंडियों का भी अपमान है, तमाम आदिवासियों का अपमान है। एक क्रांति की ओर ले जाया जा रहा है पूरे झारखंड को।
Jharkhand is a poor state, and certainly the people of Jharkhand have remained poor, because whether it is a Congress MP's house where they are recovering thousands and hundreds of crores from, or the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha head, the Chief Minister's house where they are recovering cash from, it is clear there is rampant corruption in the INDI alliance. The two things that characterize the INDI alliances, three things rather, are: one is corruption, second is appeasement politics, and the third is dynasty politics. These three things are absolutely visible in what has happened today. There is rampant corruption between the Congress MP from whose home hundreds of crores were recovered, and today's recovery from their own IND alliance partner, Hemant Soren's house, this money and these cars and these Benami properties, points to what an exploitative political culture is present in the INDI alliance.
Okay, so there are two things. One, the meeting took place, and then a lot of tweets came out, and then in the tweet, for example, Nishikant Dubey wrote in his tweet, as per the current information, Jharkhand MLA Sita Soren and Basant Soren refused to accept Chief Minister Hemant Soren's wife Kalpana Soren or any other MLA as the Chief Minister. Both the MLAs were absent from the legislative party meeting being held in Ranchi. Is the government safe or not? What are the numbers, Brajesh?
Well, the government is absolutely safe. I don't think that there's any problem to the government if they want to, appoint his wife as a potential or caretaker chief minister in case he's arrested by enforcement directorate. I don't think the number wise the party is on a shaky foundation. That is for sure. But yeah, one thing is there, that if the chief minister gets arrested just before the election, when Lok Sabha elections are round the corner, it makes the party feel nervous. And then there could be a scenario in which the number of MLAs might fear about imminent arrest of more people in this case, and could lead to switching of sides, which happens in this case of scenario. But if we go by right now, the numbers are in place, and I don't think that there is any visible threat to the government of Hemant Soren.
There's no visible threat. Anurag, if there is no visible threat, then why is Hemant Soren so nervous? I understand that there's a propriety, you just don't walk into his residence, and the raids, other parts of the raids have revealed the cash and other things. Why did he disappear for 48 hours? I mean, so what's your assessment?
Well, thank you for having me on the show. But first of all, I think it's only Mr. Hemant Soren or his family can answer that. But what I can assess from the situation is clearly he appears to be caught off guard, and he knows that there's something serious about the investigation that ED wants to, and the kind of questioning that ED was willing to do. Look, Kartikeya, we generally people who have dealt with the ED matters and who know what's happening, they clearly would anticipate what kind of questions ED would come at, or what kind of investigation is underway. And if you know that this is something that you're going to really be a low-hanging fruit for ED to get hold of you, then the fear increases. And I think with the case of Hemant Soren, and I can also tell you the kind of politics that happens in the kind of bureaucracy and the corrupt government that is usually seen in Jharkhand because of the coal mining, the lot of mafia around the coal, and a lot of exodus and everything. So I think there is a whole concept of conspiracy of government being in corrupt state, but it's also the ED who knows very well what's going on for so long. But I think now is the time when they actually, in fact, I would say Hemant Soren knew that this was coming for last few years. But since it is close to the election, he thought maybe it will not come because he may then play a victim card. But he didn't anticipate such a clear messaging from the ED that he's going to be arrested. And I think that is where I think things went absolutely wrong.
Mr. Kochetal, your opening comments? Why did he disappear?
Well, I think not a question of disappearing. He's such a high security person. I mean, how can he just disappear like that? I mean, it is a Naxalite infested area. It is a Jharkhand or Telangana.
You can still go missing. You can still go missing.
How can you? I mean, come on. Wouldn't the state police know where he is? And isn't there a thing called a mobile phone?
Only gods can disappear. Supernatural people, men on earth, women on earth can only go missing.
You said, there are fast tags and his security attached to his retinue. After they all state police, it's a different thing altogether. But this disappearing thing is a bit of a joke because, I mean, where would he disappear? And I think I found something more funny in the ED raid, actually. Getting 35 lakhs cash from his house. For the last few months, Hemant Soren knew that they will come to his house and raid his house. Would he keep 35 lakhs in his house? I thought that was a change, small change. He would have instead kept 350 crores. But he knows ED is coming, so he would have taken it away. He would have kept it somewhere else. Getting a BMW, so what, big shake. I mean, Jharkhand is known for scams. Remember the note for vote scam, the question scam, everything. Jharkhand JMM MPs were involved in that scam. Of course, BJP MPs also were involved in it. But all along, Jharkhand seems to be a favorite place because it's a mining mafia.
But Mr. Kochetal, if you remember the original JMM scam, I don't think any investigating agency could do much. They went to a bank. They went to a bank and deposited the money, and that was a state bank. And the volume of that money was so high that the alarm bells rang. At that point of time, though it might sound small in change or small in number today, but they genuinely deposited it.
Unless either they were foolish or they were overconfident. Because I mean, why would somebody go and deposit some money?
I would give them benefit of doubt. They didn't have the idea that you can get caught.
What to do with the loot proceeds?
You will get caught. And a lot of people would say that all of them had no exposure. I really don't want to talk about it because we are talking about a state which is backward. People come from diverse backgrounds, a tribal state, and yes, people made fun कि ये क्या किया आपने, पैसे तो बैंक में जमा करा दिए, वहीं से पकड़े गए, लेके ही नहीं चले गए, गायब हो जाता. लेकिन the fact of the matter is that they took away the BMW, they took away that 36 lakh. I completely agree with you that why would he keep 36 lakhs there?
Well,
why would he, and what was the issue with BMW, Brijesh?
I honestly don't think so, and I agree with Suresh Kochatel completely that that when ED is hot on your trail, and you have been issued 9 summons and you have appeared in one of them, and there are again summons and you have said that you will appear on a particular date, you have informed the enforcement directorate. Why would anybody keep a 35 lakh rupees in his home? And 35 lakh rupees is not the kind of money which will ring alarm bells in enforcement directorate. They go after proceed of crime, and that BMW is also, and the missing that the absconding word which was used. I mean, it is not like as if he has been asked to appear or said that if you don't appear by 5, we'll declare you absconding. He didn't chose to respond to the the submissions or the pleadings of the ED that he should join an investigation or explain the source of 35 lakh rupees and the BMW, the car which was
so my question, Anurag, to you is, what was he trying to avoid in last 3 days? I mean, so was he looking at some legal solution? Was he consulting his, what was he avoiding? He may have taken a 1,300 kilometer journey. Yes, I understand when people say ED को केवल विपक्ष के नेता दिखते हैं. I completely agree. विपक्षी एकदम ठीक ठाक उनकी जिसे कह सकते हैं, हम जो कह सकते हैं कि
विपक्ष ही रडार पे है.
विपक्षी रडार पे है. जिसे कहते हैं the political servicing. It's only the opposition. But then he is an elected representative. I'm sure you set an example. I'm sure you just don't disappear like that. Sorry, you don't go missing like that. So what was he doing in Delhi? I mean, someone would really ask him during election, sir, आप कर क्या रहे थे? You were consulting lawyers. What were you doing?
Yeah, I think Kartikeya, look, I don't understand and I don't agree with the funda that if you're a elected representative, you are absolutely sacrosanct and you are untouchable, and nobody should question you. It's wrong. I mean, why should he should be on the front line? He should be explaining where this 36 lakhs has come from. He should be explaining why there has been so many allegations. One of the classic examples that I can actually quote, Kartikeya, is if you see the recent in the recent years, there was a time when even Sharad Pawar was summoned by the ED, and there was like, okay, you need to come for a questioning, and Mr. Pawar did not disappear. Mr. Pawar stepped up. He said tomorrow there was Section 144 imposed in Mumbai. But Mr. Pawar said, I'm going to come to the ED office. Please ask me what you have to ask. That's what people say, or that's what people do when you are asked to prove. But if you actually are absconding and you are away for 48 hours, and then whatever is the cash, I mean, 38 lakhs, maybe it is a small amount for us, maybe it's a big amount for the politicians of Jharkhand, who knows? And why this, and also let's understand, Mr. Hemant Soren, it is a very high possibility that he did not expect that the raids will happen in the place where the 36 lakhs were found, which very well is a possibility. So I think instead of questioning back the ED, or instead of questioning, tossing up a conspiracy theory, he's been, I mean, all the supporters of Mr. Hemant Soren have been accepting that yes, for last few years there's been a hanging sword, and ED has always been doing hide and seek. So if he knows that there's going to be something, if he knows that something is going to come, I think he should have come and do a press conference and really disclose where this has come from. In fact, I would start with a very small thing. Please explain from what kind of money he has bought a BMW car, on whose name the car is registered. And not only him, I can quote hundreds of politicians. If you actually go digging into from where this car has come, who has paid to this dealership that has delivered the BMW car, you will have a lot of things to question. And I think let's start from that instead of pointing the fingers back to the investigation agency. Why do we want to take a politically fertile argument, and we feel that, okay, this is going going to create some kind of news buzz. Why don't we just simply ask Mr. Hemant Soren or the supporters, tell us from where, if this cash is yours, there are evidences, please tell from where you got the cash, please tell on whose name the BMW car is registered, not only for that matter, the BMW car, but the other assets that he's having. Why don't we, as people of the media, start questioning them?
I don't disagree with you. Amount doesn't matter. चोरी का पैसा होता है. I agree with you. There's no fundamental difference. I mean, say if it's a procedure money which is a direct consequence of an act of corruption, then it doesn't matter if it's 50 rupees, 500 rupees, 5,000 rupees. But yes, the question will be asked: why would someone leave that money there? One, if someone understands that the ED is
hot on its trail.
Hot on its trail. But the second issue is, which I am more, I would say, concerned about. I am more concerned about the transfer of power. Kalpana Soren's name is coming. Suresh, Prime Minister has been continuously speaking about Parivarvad. After Bihar, this will be another case where suddenly the power, if the power will be transferred to wife. Can you please unmute yourself?
I've unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a private limited company, so obviously the private limited companies all had this. But there's one more interesting scenario that I want to throw up. I don't know whether you can call it a scenario that way. Remember, who are these high-profile lawyers representing the Sorens and Lalus and all that? Kapil Sibal, R.K. Anand at one time. These are the big-time lawyers. What happened was Kapil Sibal is no longer with Congress. Why? Because Congress couldn't get him a Rajya Sabha seat. So instead of his fees, I think he negotiated a Rajya Sabha seat with the party that was willing to take his services. R.K. Anand, something very similar. Now just watch, even the money that is paid, all the ED cases, if you look at the lawyers representing these big shots, because they're all big shots. ED wouldn't go and raid a Kirana shop guy or a small steel trader. No, they will go after the big fish. Okay, especially when there is a transfer of cash that goes out of the country. That's where Enforcement Directorate gets. Now in this case, remember, when they go after such a big fish, the lawyers representing them also are 5-star. So you will have the Abhishek Manu Singh. I'm just taking names. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I know. See, it's, you as a guest have the right to take names. But the broader question is, ED never raids the lawyers. When was the last time ED has raided a big lawyer?
I just want to give you a gift point here. What happens is that if you look at the ED's conviction rate, most of the conviction rates are stuck because these cases are stuck in some court or the other. Because these 5-star lawyers know just to stand before the Chief Justice of India at 10 in the morning or 10:30 in the morning and get a mention the same day and get the hearing on the same day. You and me will have to struggle for 3 years to get a listing in the Supreme Court. I went personally in August 2018 when I faced a death threat in Kerala. I went to Justice Lalit and Justice Parashar. The case came, luckily my case came up in 3 days and I got a protection. But that is not necessary for everybody. So people, ordinary common men take days to do. But these lawyers ensure that these cases prolong and prolong and prolong. Look at Lalu's cases. How long and how many cases has he got convicted? This goes on. And mark my words, the enforcement directorates, I think the biggest disadvantage with them is that they only have a Solicitor General to represent them. If they have the likes of Chief P. Chidambaram on their side, imagine the kind of conviction that will take place. I'm not saying P. Chidambaram will become the Solicitor General. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. If you can't get a conviction done, because if you look at out of the 95% of the cases stuck in the court, the remaining 5%, ED has a 100% conviction record. I think 96% conviction record. Which means if they're able to get these big time lawyers off their back, they're able to convict this guy. But that is few and far in between.
I don't think that's a
there is also
system because
there is also a thing, Kartikeya, which is like, it is not only limited to 5-star lawyers.
No, this is not limited to India. No, it's not limited to India.
I'm saying something else. It is the societal structure. If a big man goes to police station, the SSP will stand up and treat him differently.
Correct.
If a rickshaw wala goes, he'll be treated differently. In all walks of life, we encounter this kind of prejudice, this kind of discrimination. So just taking one name or just hotshot lawyer derailing the entire thing is completely, is too far off the mark. B, the kind of power that has now been entrusted with the Enforcement Directorate, the process has become the punishment. It's like right now, if you mention it, you cannot be given a charge sheet, You cannot be told what exactly on what grounds you are there. You will have to prove your innocence, and a majority of the time, one of the thing is that I think more than the conviction rate, what ED should be working on, which is next to impossible to happen in this country, is that ED should be working on its impartiality. The fact is that what CBI used to be to Congress party a cage parrot, ED is exactly the same. Out of the 95 or 99% of the cases, Dusra Tota, because the 99, 95% or 96% of the cases are of the people who belong to the opposition party. And any opposition party who joins the government, all of a sudden the heat vanishes.
I completely agree with you. It's not about the lawyers. It's about जिसका जितना रसूख है वो उतने बड़े आदमी के पास जाएगा, जिसके पास नहीं है वो जाएगा नहीं.
Instead of hiring Kapil Sibal and getting it stalled for 2 years, better he joins the BJP and get it stalled for the rest of his life. There's so many cases which has come out like that. So you have all the options available before you.
I think that's very well put. Thank you all of you for joining this this debate on Hemant Soren. But I think Hemant Soren is on weak wicket. The way ED is going after Hemant Soren, tomorrow is going to be a long day for him, and the repercussion will be wide, because if there's a transfer of power within, because it's not a government of JMM, it's JMM Congress government. So a lot of things will come into play. But before we end the show, I'll leave you with some of the political comments that have come.
जब माननीय मुख्यमंत्री कल ईडी को बुलाए 31 को, तो किसके आदेश पे ईडी समय के पहले माननीय मुख्यमंत्री के दिल्ली के सरकारी निवास में पहुंचते हैं? और ये कहा जाता है कुछ एजेंसियों द्वारा 36 लाख रुपए मिले. क्या मेरे गैर अनुपस्थिति में मेरे घर के तलाशी ली जा सकती है? किसका है वो 36 लाख रुपए? क्या वो ईडी के द्वारा या बाबूलाल जी के द्वारा वो प्लांट नहीं किया गया?
गरीबों से जमीन नौकरी देने के बदले ले लिया गया. बेबस गरीब अपने खून पसीने की कमाई से थोड़ा बहुत जो लोग जमीन लेते हैं घर बनाने के लिए या थोड़ी मोटी खेती बाड़ी करने के लिए, उनकी जमीन ले ली गई. तो ईडी जाएगी नहीं. इन लोगों ने भ्रष्टाचार को संस्कार बना लिया है, भ्रष्टाचार को शिष्टाचार बना लिया है, और अपने परिवार के सुख शांति के लिए गरीबों के खून पसीने की कमाई को भी हड़पने का काम किया. तो कानून तोड़ेंगे तो ईडी जाएगी ही वहां. और इनको लगता है कि हम विशेष व्यक्ति है तो हमारे लिए देश का कानून अलग होगा, विशेष होगा. ऐसा नहीं है. इस देश का कानून सबके लिए एक समान है. हां, इन लोगों की जब जब सत्ता रहती है तो कानून को ताक पर रखते हैं, कानून का उपयोग अपने लिए अपने हित में करते हैं. जो भ्रष्टाचार से या तो कहीं न घिरा होता.
जब रोजगार दिया गया उसके बदले में जमीन लिखाया गया, तो उस पर अगर सवाल जवाब हो रहे हैं तो ये बायस होके नहीं हो रहे. ये इसलिए नहीं हो रहे कि वो सरकार से बाहर है तब, वो तो पहले से जांच चल रही है, पहले से भी पूछताछ हुई है, फिर से अगर पूछताछ हो रही है तो इस पे इतना हंगामा बर्पा करना, इतनी बड़ी भीड़ जमा करना, ये कहना कि कोई पॉलिटिकल वेंडाटा है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ईडी अपना काम कर रही है. जो सवाल पूछे जा रहे हैं उसका जवाब देना होगा.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए.